welcome to the fifth in a series of videos in which I'm sharing tips on how to become known as a business for good brand. Today I'm talking about the fourth step, which is to measure your impact. Before you can communicate the difference your business is making, you obviously need to know what this is. But how do you do this? Well, by measuring your results that you've had relative to your intended impact. What to measure depends on your business impact mission statement and the particular strategies that you've implemented, as I've discussed in previous videos. When it comes to measuring impact, there is, however, one thing that I want to just explain here because a lot of people get confused about this, and that's the difference between contribution versus impact. So contribution is what you've done or achieved. Impact is the difference that's occurred as a direct consequence of your actions. So, for example, a common measure of success people often use is the amount of money that they've raised for charity. If you've set yourself a fundraising goal in monetary terms, it's obviously good to measure your success relative to this. But the amount of money you raise is your contribution, not an impact. What's more meaningful is the difference this money has once it's been invested or donated. Your impact could be the number of lives saved, number of children educated, or trees planted, with further impacts as a consequence of any one of these. Whenever you implement a business impact or giving strategy, I suggest you also always decide how you can measure the impact of these, ways you can monitor your performance relative to your impact goals in your weekly or monthly business reporting. In an earlier video, I mentioned that the global sustainability goals are a great framework for helping you get clarity on the impact that you want to have. The 207 targets that underpin the 17 goals are really good reference points for the type of activities that you could measure. Of course, you'll never know the full extent of the impact that you have, as all we can do is actually measure the type of impacts that we know about. There are an increasing number of impact measurement apps and tools being developed in response to the increased demand for businesses to be able to demonstrate their impact. You can also get apps to track your personal impact too. It's going to be really interesting to see which tools become more prominent as the months and years progress. By measuring your impact, you'll know the progress that you're making towards your impact goals, and you'll have more meaningful information and stories that you can share with your people and your followers. I'll be sharing more about that final step of becoming known as a business for good brand, which is telling your story, in the next video. Until then, bye bye.